What's happening, my friends? We're back inside the building once again here on Trickstar Radio as we jump into another edition of the interview hour here on Breakfast with KXVU. Today, we're going to be talking to a guest I've been really looking forward to getting on, someone whose sound is very, very unique, somewhere between that sort of realm of future tech music and, of course, the bass music influence as well. Really, really excited to get into this one. A man like Skue-K joins us on the line this morning. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, no, all good. Just tired.
We were saying off mic a second ago that you're not normally this sort of time to be waking up.
Nah, never. I think I'd set about 4 alarms.
Oh wow! Well, fair play. Thank you for taking the time out and making sure you were here for this conversation, man. I'm really looking forward to getting into it and discussing a little bit about what you've been kind of up to. Now, obviously, with this show, we get a lot of different guests from a lot of different backgrounds and genres and sounds and styles. So, what I like to do is open up by letting you introduce a little bit about yourself. So, for those that aren't aware, who is Skue-K?
Just sort of, just like someone that makes music, really. Do you know what I mean? Just sort of making tunes that sort of have always like appealed to me. Always wanted to sort of make tunes that sounded different from anything else. That's about it, really.
Yeah. Well, I feel it's quite a humbling way to put it, because obviously you've had a lot of success so far. You've been someone who a lot of people are very interested in listening to. Kind of going back to the beginning of that sort of journey into production for yourself, what do you feel was the thing that really pushed you into it? Like, what was the environment you were in at that point?
Well, I started off making tunes probably when I was around, I think maybe like 18, like 17, 18, I sort of started and I didn't really take it seriously. And then basically I think I went out one night with my mate and I was like out of music college as well at the time, but still I weren't really taking it too seriously or like thinking of like anything like a career or anything. And then I went out with one of my mates who won like tickets to this. It was Holy Goof playing in London. It was like a free show and I think it was like limited tickets or something. Anyway, he won, he got another one for me. So I went there and I met him. And then from then that sort of like really like pushed me, I suppose, and like inspired me, I guess. And since then, like I've sort of taken it a lot more seriously. Yeah.
Interesting, man. So, I mean, kind of with that then, it's quite interesting to hear that the kind of inspiration for the sort of sounds you're making now happened almost like right at the start of when everything was sort of booming up again by the sounds of things. Because I remember a lot of those original sort of, the Holy Goof sort of shows that you were winning tickets to in London. I believe they were almost like quite closed, quite small venues, weren't they? Back, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was tiny. I think this like particular one, I think it was like 100 people. It was at Work Bar in London. Which is like tiny. That's really interesting to hear that was the thing that really inspired you then. So obviously you must have had a little bit of kind of production knowledge and general kind of music creation knowledge for being at music college prior to that. Did you find it quite easy to almost take those skills and start on that much more electronic kind of bassy path? Not really, to be honest. I don't know. I actually dropped out of college like a couple of times. I went to a couple and I don't know, I didn't enjoy it that much, to be fair, but I think definitely the majority of it is most like self-taught, and with obviously with all like the bassy stuff, it's so like heavily, it's like sound design really, isn't it? And I didn't really learn too much. Well, I didn't really learn anything sound design-wise in college, to be honest. I never really was, like, sitting there on synths and stuff. You do obviously learn things, but no, I don't think I learned too much, and that's why I dropped out.
Yeah,
maybe
I
don't know. Maybe I wasn't concentrating. I'm not sure.
No. To be honest, I'm in a very similar boat myself. I dropped out of music college myself. I found it wasn't necessarily. I don't know. I just didn't find it inspiring in a way. I didn't really find the environment to be much of a creative one. I found it was very sort of you learn this individual thing to do this individual thing. There didn't seem to be much expansion on what you could learn. But again, we might have very unique experiences of that, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who have had very positive
100%
sort of music college experiences. So kind of from that then, obviously the last few years for yourself, you have picked up quite a bit of a following. You've picked up quite a lot of support. Like how have you found that kind of growth to manage?
What do you mean in terms of what? Like manage?
In terms of kind of like staying consistent and kind of keeping up with releasing new music and things like that.
I've just tried to sort of keep sort of churning the tunes out, really. And then obviously it's difficult as well to choose what to release and what not to release. But generally I've just sort of put out whatever I think's good and what I like. And yeah, just sort of try and like keep on top of it, really, not go too long without releases, which, to be fair, I think 2020 that went out the window a bit. So I put out a tune in like January, and then I didn't put one out until about November, so I was very quiet. But sort of generally, I try and sort of keep them consistent, you know what I mean?
100%, and it definitely shows in the sort of support you've been picking up, and obviously with the kind of fan base you've been building as well. And obviously with that, collaborations do tend to arise, and we do tend to start seeing people linking up. And you've been very kind to send over a couple of very, very fresh bits for the show this morning. Am I right in thinking these are world exclusives?
Yeah, I think I bounced them quite late last night. I don't know, what time did I send them to you? About 10 p.m, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was around 10 p.m. So these are hot off the press.
Yeah, literally fresh off the bounce.
There we go. That's what we love to hear. So we're going to get into a couple of these today. We opened up with a tune that has a title that I'm not allowed to say on the airwaves, which is really, really interesting sounding. And it definitely sounds like going down much more of a kind of, I suppose, techie influence vibe on that first one.
Yeah, I think I probably made that. When did I make that? Sort of like June or July, maybe. I think that was in lockdown. And obviously, I think when the clubs are open, it's just sort of like I've made a lot more houseier bits. Obviously, I don't know. Without, I think, having the clubs open and stuff, I haven't really been that inspired to make the tear out tunes.
Yeah, of course.
Which I probably will when everything's back open and everything. But yeah, I think I've always been inspired by like the houseier stuff as well. Yeah.
Interesting. So, I mean, with that then, we are going to jump into another collaboration next, and this one comes from yourself and NuBass, someone else who's very much in this kind of middle realm, I feel, between that kind of tear-out sound and straight-up sort of house and tech. There's this nice sort of middle ground, this middle passage of a genre that's starting to form. So how did this collaboration first come together?
Well, I've been mates with him for, like, ages, probably about 3 years now. I'd met him like loads of times at shows and stuff, and yeah, I'd always been mated with him, like sending over tunes, and we've been talking ages about making a tune together. We even started one, I think it must have been probably like 2018. He came over and we sort of made something, but it just never got finished. And then it's probably like a few months ago, I just hit him up and was like, we should really just make one. And then from then it actually came about really quickly. Like, I think the majority of the tune was done in like a day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens like that though, man. Sometimes you do get these kind of long-awaited collabs, and then just within like a couple of minutes, everything's almost like been built up so much that it starts instantly flowing, and you end up with bangers essentially.
Yeah, fully. I think like it's always like we're both probably quite the same. We both say, "Oh yeah, let's do it," but then I don't know, you get distracted, don't you?
100%, man. Well, we're going to jump into this one in just a second. Before we do, though, what's the thing you're looking forward to most about the clubs reopening eventually when they do in their sort of full format?
I don't know. Just obviously, I'm proper excited to DJ again, because I don't think I've even mixed in ages, because my decks at home are like pretty broken.
Yeah.
To be fair, do you know what? It's bad, but I'm just excited to sort of like go out with my mates and get steaming.
Yeah, no. I don't blame you at all, man. You know what it is? That sort of environment is something that everyone has definitely missed, and I can't blame you at all for that. I'm in a similar position myself. So we're gonna jump into this one next. It goes by the name of All Over. This one, a world exclusive from Skue-K and NuBass. Keep it locked, my friends. It's just gone at 14 minutes past 9 here on the Big Bad Trickstar Radio. It's the interview hour live on Breakfast with KXVU. Don't go anywhere. Oh, yes.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you their morning flavours on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.